Can you talk us through what's going on?
So on channel 1 we've got that track still playing. He likes it when you sing on the track. Except there's no singing there, so we need some singing, so let's get into this groove with that one. And on this one we've got a bit of a different beat pattern going on with some dance mania.
So you've just got a loop going on here, it's just 2 bars,
yeah.
And that's just your high-end percussion basically.
Yeah, I mean it's like a little groove, there's a couple of vocal samples, it's got like a little kind of breaky kind of thing, but it all fits together nicely.
And can I ask, have you done these 3 tunes together before?
No, I haven't actually, I just found that track and that a cappella like yesterday, so yeah, it was just a happy accident. Could have gone horribly wrong, the pressure was on there.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us in the garage tonight, he is a true luminary of the house music world, remixing Dizzy Rascal, The Prodigy, and Basement Jaxx. Releasing on Tool Room and Dirty Bird to name a few, he's also made not 1 but 2 huge essential mixes for BBC Radio 1. From Yorkshire via Ibiza, please welcome through my garage DOORLY, DOORLY!
Love this theme tune. Love it. I mean, I wish I had some music to follow that up, like in the same kind of level of quality, but...
We may as well just play the outro now and see you later then.
Just leave that one. If I had a sampler, I could like remix it or something, then, I mean, it would give us a good starting point, wouldn't it?
What do I have to do to get you to remix that song?
Not very much, to be honest. Send it to me.
Yeah, you emailed and you said, love the theme tune. And it was only up to about a week ago, and I said, it's not long until we're in the same room hearing it together. But you thought that it was overdubbed?
Yeah, I just assumed you would do it and then record it afterwards like professionals do. But no, you don't. You do it in your way. It's fine, which could go horribly wrong and the levels could be wrong. But I can see we've got like a team of engineers behind here who are doing a very good job with the levels. And turns out you're more professional than I thought. So well done.
Now, speaking of professionals, you've had a pretty amazing professional career. Quite a genre hopper, I would say.
So far, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster of sounds.
Yes, my understanding is you started in hip hop.
I started kind of DJing in it, but I guess I was into house music first. That's what kind of like lured me in, like listening to Daft Punk, and at the time it was like Fatboy Slim and Cashmere. So I was really into that kind of Chicago stuff. Cool. And then when I started DJing, I just kind of got really into the art of DJing, and house music was a little bit boring, so I kind of went straight to like turntablism and naturally found like kind of golden era hip hop. Got really into that as a DJ because I just wanted to learn how to beat juggle and scratch and...
What was the first word you just said? You wanted to learn how to what, sorry?
Beat juggle.
Beat juggle.
Yeah, kind of like 2 copies of the same record, just kind of like... playing sections of them, and then before looping was available, there was no CDJs then, so you just kind of
live looping, in a way.
Like Grandmaster Flash used to do when kind of hip hop first came around. They used to call it the breaks. Well, they'd mix the breaks and never play, so they'd have disco records. And
the break was literally the break.
The drum break, yeah.
It was like the part that didn't have lyrics.
No words or melodies. It would be like the drum breaks. So they would just play. Flash would just play like a 2-hour set of the breaks and just kind of mix between 2 copies of that, and then he'd bring another break and then be a little bit of a disco sample of the vocal bit, then it'd be like back to the breaks. So that was kind of the beginning of kind of beat juggling and mixing between 2 sections really quickly. So that really got me hooked into that. I was still kind of into house music as really that's what I would prefer to play, like if I was playing in front of people
throughout your whole career.
Throughout the whole thing, yeah. Right. There was a party in Huddersfield where I lived at the time called Hard Times, which was kind of the original house music party. And
was it Hard House?
No, it's Chicago and New York house. Right. Like it was the first party in the UK to bring over Kenny Dope and any house DJs, Roger Sanchez, Todd Terry, DJ Pierre. So I was like really into that. That was my kind of sound. And funnily enough, like Circle of Life, I'm now the music director of Hard Times now because we kind of became friends, and I've started like curating the record label and events and stuff. So it's kind of like something that came. It's like a passion project for me now to do that.
Wow.
So that's kind of come quite. It's like a part. I've got my own label and stuff as well, but that's something that I really enjoy doing because I get so much help and support from that era of DJs, people like Cashmere and all of the Armor Van Helden and Todd Terry and Gene Forrest. They've all helped me so much. I find it like I need to keep that spirit alive and, you know, make sure people always remember Chicago House for what it was and Marshall Jefferson and the history of it all.
A responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, someone's got to do it, and you worry sometimes it's going to get left behind if someone's not going to continue telling that story. And there is lots of people still doing it, but, you know, having that direct connection with Chicago and all those absolute heroes, you know, to be peers with people like that is just great. So it's something that I really want to keep hard times alive and, you know, try and represent that sound as much as I can as well in my own music. So, yeah.
So it strikes me that then that education for you is as important as the scene itself.
Yeah, well, I mean, the same reason, because I was so fortunate to have the best mentors you could ever ask for.
Go on, name drop. Who we got?
Fatboy Slim, you know, Pete Tong, taking me under his wing for Radio 1 stuff. My absolute hero, Green Velvet, like signing me to his label, Casual, you know. I mean, along the way, so many people have helped me, and it's just incredible to have that. And it's something that's just, it's really important to me that I pass that on as well. And, you know, as I get older and, you know, I see the young acts coming through today that just need that bit of support, and it's tough out there. It's more tough than it's tougher now than it ever was, because there's so much more competition. It's a lot easier to do this than it used to be. So there's a lot more people doing it now. So yeah, it's important for me to kind of mentor. I've always taken on like people under my wing. It's just been something that's, I really enjoy it. Really, you know, it's just good to do something nice, isn't it?
On that, you have kind of taken that on professionally as well, because you're running the Orbit mentoring retreat in Ibiza at the moment?
Yeah, that's it. So we've got this Orbit DJ retreats thing. It's something that, like I said, I've always taken on, like, especially since living in Ibiza, I've always kind of tried to take on 3 kind of protégés that I take with me to my gigs when I'm doing my label parties, or like I had parties at Space.
Work experience kids.
Yeah, but just people that can, you know, you can rely on for the warm-up, and you know they've got something in there.
As your warm-up DJ.
Yeah, bring them on the lineup, release them on my record label. Cool. You know, just teach them bottom to the top of the industry. Some go on to be superstars themselves. Some end up working within. You know, one of them from one of my mentees is now running my co-partner with my record label and Orbit. So wow. Some of them go on to that. Loads of them release on my label, and you know, it's just a nice thing that I've always done. But then I realised it was taking up so much of my time that I was taking on way too much. That I thought I'm going to try and consolidate this into like a week of the year where I can, you know, really focus on it, but not just. There's only so much I can give, because I end up feeling like I'm managing these kids, and it's a disservice to them for them to be waiting on my reaction.
Because you feel that you're spread too thin otherwise.
Yeah, because I'm so busy anyway. And,
so you've got to start a cult and recruit people to manage them.
Well, this is kind of what Orbit's become. It's like a team of like industry professionals from all circles. Some of them are music engineers, some of them are mental health professionals, some of them are social media experts, some of them are, you know, meditation yoga people, some of them are DJ trainers, you know, and what happens is whatever the people need the most, we can focus on that, and then they've got an aftercare system that we can plug them into, and also a network that I'm part of. But from each retreat there'll be a WhatsApp group with like 50 between the students and mentors that we just stay in touch for life. And then so when someone's got a question or needs help, the group solves that problem between us, you know. So it's not all on me. If I'm traveling and I'm not looking at my phone for 3 days, I'm not leaving somebody hanging. There's someone from my team or our staff or the other students that can help, because sometimes it's a simple Ableton question that another student will just chip in and answer. Totally. So it becomes this kind of organism that all kind of works together like a little community. So it's brilliant. So each one of those retreats becomes a new community, and it's really nice. We're building an army.
Yeah, mate, that's so special that you're doing that. You mentioned mental health professionals as well. It sounds as though it's quite a holistic experience beyond just that of DJing.
Well, when it's something that, again, through my own experiences with teaching people, you lose kids quite easily to drugs and alcohol and just mental health issues. And you know, I've been there myself. All of my friends have, especially the last couple of years. And I feel like irresponsible teaching them how to be superstars and have the best technique and really sign labels without a kind of a coat of armour that's going to protect you against the music industry and what's coming at you with a little bit of fame and the way that messes you up, you know. So we have these the mental health guys are there all week that are just kind of ready to talk to people. They have an area that they kind of a meeting area where everyone kind of has a break area to go and speak to them. They do a couple of talks that give them some good tools, and then we focus quite a lot on meditation as well, and just structuring your day right. So you start with exercise, meditation, yoga, water aerobics, whatever it is that gets you out of bed and fresh, and then just like a toolkit of things that will see you through the dark times, because we're all going to have them, and it's nice to especially with meditation, like a lot of the people that come are from small towns and they're never going to consider meditation, but they try it and it changes their life like it does to anyone that tries meditation. It's amazing. Something small like that we can offer that just like, it's mandatory to come and do this, get up at 8 o'clock and do this, or we're going to be very disappointed. And then we're all there.
Don't disappoint DOORLY. It sounds as though all of this has come from your own personal journey then as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just it's mirroring the help I've had and the struggle, anything that I've had, but not just me, my headliners as well and my staff have all been through stuff. Our headliners at the next one will be Shadow Child and Sam Devine.
Wow.
Juliet Fox is back, who you had here a couple of weeks ago.
Shout out, who was standing right here, actually.
Oh, I love Juliet. She's amazing. G'day, Juliet.
G'day. Yeah, you got to speak Australian for her to understand.
Truth.
What do you got planned for today, mate?
So I've just landed. I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to go. I'm playing at Puff Duff on Chapel Street tonight, and it's like an alien theme that I've just found out about.
Oh, so they've typecast you perfectly.
I mean, I need to go find something green to wear, I think. I'm going to stand out like a sore thumb, so I'm going to wander up and down Chapel Street trying to find something either tinfoil silver or green just to kind of...
I reckon you might find a few aliens wandering down Chapel Street mid-afternoon on a Saturday.
Good point, yeah.
And more specifically, over the next hour...
Oh, next hour I'm going to be playing some tunes back-to-back with a personal hero of mine. It's a real honour.
We're just going to grab just that moment and I'm just going to replay that at my funeral.
But we're only going to be playing your theme tune back-to-back. So it's going to be musically pretty dull. Although very, not dull actually, because it's probably the best tune out there at the moment.
Shout out to my friend Samuel P.K. Smith for composing our great theme song.
Did you make that?
No, it's another Sam. It's another Sam. I was actually just pointing at the camera though.
Is everybody called Sam here?
Admittedly, there's not many people called DOORLY though, so I think you're in the clear. Please take it away. Let's see what you got for us, mate. I love hearing organic elements in house music, like those drums. That is undeniably real drums, you know.
Forgot I need to be on a microphone for that. This is actually Spiller. It reminded me of this track I played with Spiller a couple of weeks ago in Sydney, and I remembered all that. If you don't know, he did a load of stuff he started a new label, and he did a load of stuff under DITONGO and BATONGO. This one is DITONGO. The DITONGO stuff's more kind of housey, organic stuff, and then the BATONGO stuff seems to be a bit more kind of African flavoured stuff, but there's so much good stuff, and I just like... When I was playing before him, I thought, I'm going to surprise him with something no one's played before him for ages, and played this, and he was like freaking out. And it reminded me I bought it on vinyl, because it only came out on vinyl, but then I found it digitally, and I was like, yes.
Perfect.
And I'll just play it every day.
And it sounds like this is the style of house music that's always been your heartbeat.
Definitely, yeah. Organic stuff, yeah. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to play all this stuff as well, but yeah, that's definitely my kind of disco-y, Chicago, so kind of like that kind of disco-y
loopy.
Yeah.
We've got Martin DOORLY here on Coburg Up Late. It's an absolute honour. It means a lot to me to have you here. Thank you. Let's have a conversation. Tell me, let's bring people in behind the decks. What's going on over on the right-hand side here?
I was just saying I'm going to queue up an a cappella, so I just started playing a cappella over here because my style of DJing is quite fast-paced, so with stuff like this you kind of want to let the tracks play, but it's nice to add some layers and stuff. I normally bring a DJS 1000 with me, so I play all my own tracks as like 16 parts.
And you have them in stems, don't you?
In stems, yeah.
That's quite like a big part of your style is to like break things apart live, right?
Yeah, so I bring a lot of my own tracks as well on USB as well, so I can I'll loop this in a minute and start doing something like that with one of my tracks that you might recognise, and then it just kills a couple of minutes for me, but then I can mix out of it and it just kind of fills the track a bit. I mean, this track's got vocals in it, so it's kind of like
hard to put a cappella on top,
but it's alright, there'll be a moment in a second.
Well, this is a story about a man that walks into this big dark room. And this room is full of lights and full of smoke machines. And he feels like he's just in his old house. When he was a child, when he was like playing with his family on his little bike in his garden, feeling free, feeling light, feeling safe, and forgetting all his troubles, forgetting what he needs to do, who he has to pay, and not just no feeling inferior. Just no feeling inferior. In this room, worries and all the rules, what you can do and what you can't do just vanish. The only thing that counts is respect. Respect your brother. Respect your brother. Respect your brother.
To reiterate, the vocal you just heard was on its own. It was an a cappella that DOORLY has directly sampled and added over the top of the beat. Pure technical wizardry or witchcraft.
bailar, ven conmigo a disfrutar.
Seamless.
Dame todo.
Is this one of yours?
Tu mirada a mi favor.
I wish it was one of mine. Unfortunately not. Daniel, I got this off Bandcamp the other day actually. Daniel MALOSO. I got about 3 tracks of his off. I forgot what label it's on, but it's a good one. Anyway, Daniel MALOSO on Bandcamp exclusive.
You speak of Bandcamp, is that your main method for digging?
One of them, yeah. I mean, I love the whole vinyl culture feel of Bandcamp. I always start with vinyl because I feel like the stuff is always going to be a bit rarer and a bit more vinyl-only stuff. Like even if it just comes out 2 months before the digital version. So I always start there and find the freshest stuff I can find, fill up my cart, and then I'll go and see if there's stuff I really have to have. Then I'll buy it. If I'm kind of like, I reckon I'll play that a few times, but not forever, then I'll go and look if it's something anywhere digital. Usually I'll find it on Bandcamp from there. I love Bandcamp because the money goes like mostly to the artist and it doesn't get lost in the ether. So if I can buy it on Bandcamp, I will. And again, Bandcamp's got so much stuff that isn't signed to major labels or any label, just independently released, and there's so much raw, especially loving that Chicago raw stuff. There's so much raw stuff that really hasn't been mastered properly and stuff that it's just real. You know, you can master it yourself. Do a
Is it harder to search for that stuff though?
It is quite hard to search on Bandcamp. There's not. It's harder to find stuff in a way, but it's also really good for a rabbit hole. So if you find something that you like, it recommends really well, and then you can go into that label and you find all these labels that aren't on Beatport and stuff. Also, you can follow other artists who have and basically see what's in their bag. So you can follow me on Bandcamp as a fan.
How can people do that, by the way?
So if you just search for DOORLY, it'll come up as my music that's on there, and then it'll come up as me.
It's written right here.
It'll come up as me as a fan as well. And then you can whenever I buy someone, it'll send you a notification saying DOORLY's just bought Daniel MALOSO, and you'll see that, and then you can look in my record bag and see what else I've bought, and then that'll find you some new artists that you never would have thought of. So I follow a load of different people in different genres, and it really kickstarts my day to be looking in places I wouldn't normally look, in Beatport charts and all that stuff that everybody else is using. So just makes your music selection a little bit wider, and it's a good starting point to start somewhere new. So yeah, Bandcamp's brilliant for that.
Check him out on Bandcamp. Embarrassing to botch my first mix with DOORLY.
I'm glad it wasn't me, because it'll probably be me that does it next. Just while we're doing the DJ training thing, the reason that happened then, just to dissect it and make it...
Yeah, no, I want to... Let's talk about this.
Because you didn't have quantize set on,
so my loop wasn't perfect.
So your loop was down to your ropey timing, but you probably assumed that the quantize was on.
I assumed it was, and then that's why the loop wasn't perfect.
Before the days of quantize, it was actually, you had to be on time, so you would always you'd get it a lot closer because you'd be deliberately trying, but since quantize come in, it kind of makes you...
Lazy.
I do it all the time because you just think, oh, it's on, and you just don't even try, and it's like, oh shit, okay, right.
I was very confused why I'm like, I swear it's in and now it's out. Why does it continually go out?
Yeah, it's just that quantize. But the good thing about these is there's a big shiny red button that you can see. You don't have to menu dive to find it on the...
You'd have to be an idiot not to notice it.
Turn it on.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's my first unpaid tuition.
Who said you're not paying? I'm going to invoice for that later.
DOORLY, I'm actually keen to hear about these essential mixes we spoke about earlier.
Yep.
Now, you did say that many people have had even more than 2 essential mixes, but I just want to start with, it's a race against yourself. So let's, firstly, just to have 1 essential mix is truly incredible. You've had 2, but I believe when your first essential mix it was quite a momentous moment because Pete Tong came out to your town.
Yeah, no, it was bizarre. It's still one of the most bizarre, kind of crazy moments in my life. I'd kind of been DJing about 8 years or something, just doing the hip hop stuff in bars, Ministry of Sound. I was playing up and down the UK like 7 nights a week as like kind of a well-regarded DJ because I played with a lot of the headliners, so everyone knew me, but I wasn't a producer at the time. And we were running this warehouse party in my hometown of Huddersfield where everyone was coming to play, and we got loads of props from it, like Radio 1 caught attention because we'd have Armand van Helden and Fatboy Slim and the Swedish House Mafia and Scream, everyone would come and play.
Wow.
And Annie Mac and everyone, and it just, we got Radio 1 kind of got wind of it, and then, you know, Pete Tong was aware of what I've been doing and stuff, and he kind of, there was this thing called Future Superstars, so each of the Radio 1 DJs picked who they saw as a future superstar, and at this point I'm just a guy from Huddersfield, so Pete Tong, thanks Pete, and like, fair play.
Let's assume he's watching.
I mean, it was kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, really, because like when you get an Essential Mix, that certainly helps. But then, you know, not all the people that did it went on to do things as well. So it was, but it definitely gave me it made me start producing in time for that. I had a few months' notice, and I really started making edits. At the time, I was really into Soul Wax, Too Many DJs, Justice, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So
that blog house era, electro house.
Yeah, oh God, I hope
that's actually when I discovered you.
Right.
You did a remix of Lee Mortimer, Laid Back Luke, Blau.
Yeah. That was it, yeah. Well,
and that's a secret. It's pretty I mean, it's not the same tune, but it's just a big fat dubstep beat over an otherwise fidget house track.
Did you know I did 2 remixes of that?
No.
So this is part of my journey between dubstep and how I did the dubstep thing. I just fell into it by accident. I never really was a dubstep producer.
Accidental dubstep.
Yeah, but I just was really good at it. So, but I knew I didn't want to be there forever. So whenever I'd get these remix offers, I would insist, I'll do you the dubstep remix, but I also want to do a house remix as well. At the time it was heavier electro-y house stuff, but it was like, I'm going to do a 4/4 remix as well, because I want to like an
That was
exit.
like in your contract.
Yeah, so all of those remixes.
Would they have to release both?
They had to release both, yeah.
I love that.
So usually...
You're a hustler.
Well, usually the vinyl would not have the house version on. They'd be like, oh, there's only room for 3 tracks. It's like, so the dubstep one would go on the vinyl, the house one would go on the digital, which is why no one gave a shit about me, excuse my language, doing a house remix. So it was a bit like the Basement Jacks one, there's a house version, that Layback Lit one, there's a house version, the one I did for Errol Alkan on Fantasy Sound, there's loads of it.
So you were all up in the middle of that world then.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I was pumping out remixes then. You know, I was young and single. I just sat in the studio all day. Take me 3 or 4 hours to do a remix. I mean, it takes me a lot longer now because I overthink everything. But back then, it was like a hit factory, and so I was just doing it. You know, it was brilliant. So, but then no one knows those versions. But so that Essential Mix, I hope no one listens to it now because it's kind of embarrassing because I wasn't ready. I mean, you could tell I had the raw talent, but it was a mess, and it was like. I looked like like orange, yellow mohawk, and Pete Tong said, "What's your style?" And I was like, "Dirty electro meets mash up or something like that." And he was like,
It's like, right on. I think we're in the wrong place.
But no, it was good, and it was like for my hometown, it was an amazing. It was exactly what was needed for that moment. But when I listen back, it's kind of like it wasn't me. But so Radio 1 kind of were always like, "Look, what you need to do now is like." We'll come back in a few years and like we want to see who an artist you become. So they waited until I had releases out and I'd kind of established myself on some labels, and then they gave me another one, and it was like, again, if you listen to that, it's so different than the sound I am now because I've evolved so much. But you know, I almost did a Radio 1 show after that second mix, but again, I was like transitioning away from dubstep, and they were looking for a dubstep show, and I was like, you know,
Do you think you're just right place, right time with the dubstep? It was kind of as dubstep was beginning to pop, so that's just the path that you went down?
Yeah, well, I was at the time I was DJing a lot of like student nights and open format gigs during the week, and those kind of gigs were just happening to start having things like Rusko and Casper come in, and the dance floor was insane, like you've never seen anything before. So I was like, so on the train on the way to the gigs, I'd be making these little edits just so I'd have something to play before or after the headliner. And the first one I did was the Dizzy Rascal thing, and I gave it to Rusko and DJ Yoda and a few other DJs, and they all played it. It went number 1 on Hype Machine.
Fuck yeah.
Boom, there I go.
Hype
and I'm
Machine,
like,
those were the days.
That was the one. That was the biggest thing you could do at the time. And I did 3 consecutive number 1s in the space of a month on Hype Machine.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, I'm getting huge management offers and everything, remix offers, everything for dubstep. So I'm like, I guess I'm a dubstep DJ. All my mates are like, what is this you doing? I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to go with it for a bit. So that moved me out to America. So I went and found it, was the biggest thing that came from it, really finding my feet, living in Los Angeles, which I loved and missed, It's, so yeah, I don't regret any of it. It was all brilliant. It was all part of my journey. And that's what I was saying to Sam. It taught me a lot about bass, understanding how to make bass as strong as possible and then applying that into house music. So my tracks have a bit more bass mentality than not an average house track.
Oh, cool. So dubstep has informed your sound now.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's an education. At the time, I didn't know who I was. I feel like I do now, but until even 5 years ago, I was still trying to find my groove and work out who I was as an artist. And I was making jungle. I was trying to make hip hop, not very well, but I tried everything at some point. I was making kind of minimal. My first release ever was a vinyl double-sided release. One side was a minimal techno kind of pop-off style, and the other one was a dubstep track called Horse Step. That had a sample of a horse going, and then like a big dubstep drop. It's hilarious. But that was my first release, and it's like, even then I'm like, flip a coin. It's like, is he going to go minimal techno or is he going to go dubstep? Like, nobody knows. So which is a mistake, by the way, and something I always talk to my students about. Pick a lane because you'll get there quicker, because you confuse the hell out of everybody. You're trying to be everything to everyone. You can do that, I think, later in your career. Once you've established yourself, you can take some risks, but promoters don't know where to put you if they don't know what you're going to play.
I'm not a devil's advocate here, because I agree with you on a professional level, but what about just on a sheer creative level?
I mean, yeah,
because sometimes what if you want to join the business because you love the music?
Yeah, I mean, it's just if you look at the artists that find success more easily, they're known to something. It's like you go into McDonald's, if you're a bad example, but if you want to eat McDonald's and you go in there and someone gave you a Nando's, you'd be like you'd be like disappointed about it. So it's okay.
That's an amazing analogy. Let's keep it.
If people aren't always as open-minded as we are, people that are into, especially when you go as diverse as bass music and techno, they kind of hate each other. It's like the techno kids.
I can imagine your internal battle really keeps you up at night.
I mean, I don't anymore because I know who I am. I haven't played it. Some people go back and do it. I'll never go back and play dubstep. It's just not something I'm passionate about.
Sure.
Whereas I will go into techno from house, but those two pair together well, and disco even. But going back to bass music is just something I'll never do, except for the odd, I'll play a fun garage set somewhere for a laugh.
The nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly, or even a jungle set, something like that. Or golden era hip hop. If I'm doing something as a build special thing that's different, but I won't surprise people and start dropping jungle or dubstep in a set these days because it's just not. I'm not on top of it, I don't know what's going on in that world. So, yeah.
Mate, I'll let you continue to surprise us here with who knows what we're going to get. I mean, he claims to know himself, and I think that's fantastic. We're still getting to know him. I'm loving what I've found out so far. We have DOORLY here on Coburg Up Late, educating myself and the masses. paraphrase, you know the moves. How did you know the moves to this one? Bit of choreography with DOORLY today. It's great to watch you use that mixer, man. Woohoo!
There you are.
So that came from your hip-hop training, right?
Looking at me with that patronizing smile of yours.
No, I'm not just referring to the backspin. I mean, literally everything you're doing there, it's like you can't sit still.
No dancing.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
But I think that's a wonderful thing. And do you think that characterises your playing?
I know you.
Yeah, I guess I've had to kind of learn to rein it in a bit, coming from, I'm speaking over vocals here, it's making my head, I can hear the vocals over me talking is like, oh.
Yeah, it goes back to, you're your own a cappella now.
Stop it. Shut up. Thank you. Rude. So yeah, I guess, because I'm coming from that kind of like, especially that mashup thing where you just be mixing in between each track, quickly. Going back to, when I really found myself back in house music where I belong, it did take me a while to kind of slow down on what I was doing, especially when there's a new bit of equipment that's out, and I just kind of want to mess around with it and find out what's going on, and you should do that when there's no one there really, not in front of people. But I can't help myself sometimes.
Happy accidents though, that's where the best stuff comes from, right?
Yeah, exactly. I saw Kink do a post the other day. Kink's just an amazing live performer. I'm sure everybody's aware of him. It's so impromptu and just raw, and sometimes it'll go a bit left and a bit wrong and a bit, but then
was this the post where he's like, should I stop doing that?
Yeah, and everyone's like, no, don't do it, because
wasn't the comments section so uplifting?
Overwhelmingly keep doing what you're doing, because it's it's just anyone that's watching Kink is probably a studio nerd as well, everyone likes Kink, but
kinky for studios.
Yeah, but he's amazing, and it's like if you could just go in the studio and just make tracks as quickly as he could, it's just witchcraft. Watching him is like, don't stop doing that and have pre-planned stuff. That takes all the fun out of it. He's incredible. So I'm nowhere near as talented as him, but I definitely think that way as well. I don't. Sometimes something will go wrong, but quite a lot of the time it'll go really well, and then I'll bounce, especially my sampler. I'll make a track and I'll be like, right, save that, and I bounce that out into Ableton. Loads of my tracks come from my live performances, because it's the adrenaline that comes. Sat in your studio, it can take a while to get into the juices going, but when you're in a club in front of people, your ideas just happen, and you just
they have to.
It's just that flow that comes, that flow that you're trying to chase, sat there when you've just woken up or you're tired. When you're in a club, you're going to be in the flow. Where at some point during your set, you're going to find it, and that's when I'll start experimenting. And it just comes effortlessly. Sometimes when you're not in that flow state, it's kind of hard, and you'll be a bit janky, and I'll leave it. And then when I'm like, right, the crowd's in the palm of my hand now, let's start going for it. And then they just write themselves, and it's amazing. But again, something will go on a bit too long, and I'll be like, I can't think of anything to do. And that loop will be going. I'll be trying to cover it up with an a cappella or something while I think of a track to play. But that's why having so many devices is good, to make layers in those situations.
I think you're a special specimen like that. I think a lot of people are happy with 2 devices.
Yeah. I think everyone should have 3 though, just because not just to layer, but also as you look at 3 decks and people would think it's actually harder to DJ on 3 decks. I see the 3rd deck as a kind of get out of jail free card. When you while you've got 2 tracks, especially with house, you've got 6 minutes while you're waiting for that to do. Why not plan your next move, think of your next track, or put an a cappella over it? It gives you that extra time to think of your next step ahead, and instead of waiting for that mix to finish, you're already on to your next mix. And also, another thing, if you're talking like this and your track's about to run out, you just loop the end of the track, and then you put on a spoken word a cappella over the top of that, which will buy you another 3 minutes while that's doing its thing, a few filters and effects while you're scrolling thinking of something else, and that buys you a few minutes of extra time to do it. So it's actually a real gift to have that 3rd device, and don't be scared of having a 3rd thing, whether it's a vinyl deck, a sampler, a CDJ, whatever.
Well, I've got a challenge for you, DOORLY. I know that my USB is currently in here. What we're going to do is eject me, and I want to see you operate all 3. Okay. So these 2 are linked, so you can pull that out unless that's running off that. And I want to see 3 decks in action with the king.
Yeah, okay, let me just check if that's on.
Yeah, you should be right.
Yeah.
Oh, that says link.
That's linking from. That's 2. This is the scary thing for every DJ, isn't it?
Yeah. Which one do you like? It's I'm sure you've started gigs before and just hit the cue button and stop the music for the whole club.
Yeah. I mean, it's better now with emergency loop. It'll keep looping it, won't it? So I mean, even if I take it out now, it'll still.
Let's have a go. Let's see what happens. Yeah, you should be good.
Yes, I'm good anyway. But it would just loop it anyway. So, but I mean, it's actually with since the CDs went from the CD, because when you eject a CD, you're in trouble then, because you've got to load the CD back in. But with USBs, you can quickly find another track. I used to do it all the time with vinyl when I was on 3 vinyl decks, because especially when it's like white label stuff with no labels, and you're just like, that one, nope. But at least you can put it back down in the groove roughly. Neil from Scratch Perverts used to do this routine where he would scratch without a crossfader. Instead of the crossfader cutting the sound in and out, he would, that's none. Like when you're scratching, you're cutting the sound in and out like that. Instead of using the crossfader to do that, he would use the vinyl needle up and down, just like that, and it would scratch. It's like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's from the Scratch Perverts. There's YouTube videos of it.
That would ruin the needle and potentially the record?
I mean, I think it's like a scratch record, so they're pretty durable. And with that kind of precision, he's not like doing it like I would be doing it. He's like the timing and the precision of it is so good that it's,
amazing.
Probably come out in better condition than when they started.
All right, mate, let's see what you got. You got 3 decks here, load it up.
Well, I'm going to play this tune because it's hilarious. And
and as soon as you played it, we put it on loop.
Yeah.
But you read 1,000 of articles, and I can see it on your inside joke t-shirt print.
We've got DOORLY here on Coburg Up Late, showing us how it's done.
That you actually forgot how to feel music. And I know you hate it when somebody sings on track. But you know what? I like it when a man sings on a track. I like it when a man sings on a track. I know you hate it, but I just do it. So how you feel about that? Yeah.
I need this tune.
Happy accident. Like sometimes when you go through your vinyl collection, you forget. I try and do that like I do shopping. You just go in there and look on B-sides of stuff that you weren't into the first time round. Old label called International DJ Gigolo that's got so many good stuff, and that was just on like a compilation. I'm like, what is this? It's amazing.
So you previously owned this track, it just didn't resonate with you at the time.
It's at least 10 years old, I think.
Isn't that wild to think that like there's so much music out there that's just not for you at this moment?
Exactly, yeah. Yes, your taste matures, doesn't it, and stuff. Yeah, and this was so ahead of its time, probably. I need to find out what year it's from.
My taste devolves. I go backwards, personally.
I am musically flipping you off right now, just in case you didn't recognize my friend. In almost every club here is someone just like you, staying right in front of the DJ, analyzing every track and every move that everybody is doing. Just staying around, not dancing, and on your mobile phone you're twittering. This music is too cheesy, this snare is too obvious, and that break is too breaky, and that voice is too weak. I just hope it doesn't.
I mean, music that lyrically references itself is cheesy, but I have no problem with that.
I like it when a man sings on a track. I like it when a man sings on a track. I know you hate it, but I just do it. So how you feel about that? I like it when a man sings on a track. I like it when a man sings on a track. I know you hate it, but I just do it. So how you feel about that? I like it when a man sings on a track. I like it when a man sings on a track.
The viewers can't see, but the whole camera team is up and smiling right now. This is a vibe, DOORLY.
did this to you. Wait, sweat. You really did hate this just right now, didn't you? Yeah, you were a member of the party police, Mr. Officer. You are so sophisticated, your legs don't dance no more. Woohoo! Maybe next time you should start wearing like a plaid suit. Bring a little pen and a notebook to write down your thoughts. Come here, my friend. Come here. Have a sip, my Cuba Libre. It'll set you free. 'Cause you need to loosen up, my dear. Yeah. Ha. J. Ha.
It's actually kind of harkens back to that fidget electro house vibe with that synth.
Yeah, it is. I need to like see what else was happening around that point. It almost sounds like a Green Velvet vocal as well.
Absolutely, yeah. Hit me with those laser beams. So we're currently sampling just that vocal and looping.
Let's get into this groove. 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 Let's get into this groove.
Can you talk us through what's going on?
Let's get into this groove. Let's get into.
So on channel 1 we've got that track still playing. He likes it when you sing on the track. Except there's no singing there, so we need some singing. So let's get
into this groove
with that one.
Into this groove.
And on this one, we've got a bit of a different beat pattern going on with some dance mania.
So you've just got a loop going on here. It's just 2 bars.
Yeah.
And that's just your high-end percussion, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a little groove. There's a couple of vocal samples. It's got like a little kind of breaky kind of thing. But it all fits together nicely.
Into this groove. Let's get into this.
And can I ask, have you done these 3 tunes together before?
No, I haven't actually. I just found that track and that a cappella like yesterday. So yeah, it was just a happy accident. Could have gone horribly wrong. The pressure was on there.
Live DOORLY exclusive right here.
I mean, the good thing about these CDJs is you've got key sync on there, so I could sync that vocal with this track, which was a good thing. And this hasn't really got much melody to it, so you can kind of get away. It's kind of raw and stripped. So what I'll do is I'll filter this one down now.
Let's get into this groove.
And then this one can take the lead, and then I'll release this.
Into this groove. Let's get into this groove. Let's get into this.
And then I've just got to exit this one, so I'll do some effects on this to get rid of this track.
Here we go.
Let's get into this groove.
It is a masterclass today with DOORLY on Coburg Up Late. I've learned more in this episode than I think I've ever learned.
Let's get into this groove. Let's get into this groove. Let's get into this groove. Let's get into this groove.
Mate, and I feel like before we do your last tune, I think I kind of need to redeem myself. I can't let 100% of my mixes on this episode be shit house.
Right, quantize is on.
So the work's been done for me, you mean?
Anyway, you've got this, brother. You've got this. Let's see if one of my students can develop on to get to that next level today.
I hope you're this savage in your actual orbit retreat as well.
Yeah, I'm only joking, but also it's just fun to have a little dig every now and then. You've got to do it. It's reinforcing. But also you've got to say when something's wrong, because you never learn. If somebody just stands there and goes like, oh, you've got to say something. It might be uncomfortable at the time, but you're never going to learn if somebody doesn't tell you when you're doing something wrong. So I wouldn't normally do that in a back-to-back set with somebody. I just thought it'd be quite funny to embarrass you in front of all of your fans.
He says, but 100% of the back-to-back sets that I've seen and participated in with you, you have. So jury's out, mate.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
So I'm just hearing a good groove here. I'm going to keep it in for a little while. I hope that tissue wasn't used. And like a good DJ, he cleans up in the booth after himself. All right, Doorly, take us home. I'm satisfied that now only 50% of my mixes have been shit out.
You did well. You've graduated.
Cue Green Day, the time of your life. We got time for one more, mate. Take us home. We've had Doorly on Coburg up late. It's been fantastic. Thank you so much, man. Tell you what, that quantize saved my butt then. And the anticlimax of the day is awarded to Thank you, doing my job for me. I must apologise, these tissues were used, sorry.
This poem shall speak of the wretched sea that washed him to these shores, of mothers crying for their young, swallowed up by the sea. This poem shall say nothing new. This poem shall speak of time, time unlimited, time undefined. This poem shall call names, names like Lumumba.
I can see in the waveform that there is just vocals here as well, so we're getting another treat of an a cappella. He's a cheeky man, he said he'd do one more, but there's definitely 2 tracks being involved.
In Brixton, Atlanta, Jim Jones. This poem is revolting against first world, second world, third world, division, man-made decision. This poem is like all the rest. This poem will not be amongst great literary work, will not be recited by poetry enthusiasts. It will not be quoted by politicians or men of religion. This poem is knives, bombs, guns, blood, fire, blazing for freedom. Yes, this poem is a drum. Ashanti, Mama, Igbo, Yoruba, Nyabingi warriors, Yohuro, Namibia, Yohuro Soweto, Yohuro Afrika. This poem will
I've just fallen in love with this song.
Need to be changed.
I never loved this song until now.
This poem is a rebirth of a people, a rising, awakening, understanding. This poem is speaking, I've spoken. This poem shall continue even when poets have stopped writing. This poem shall survive. I think I just found out what love is. Brilliant. Top tier stuff, mate.
Thank you.
Hey, before we head off, is there anything else to plug? Anything else coming up? Anything we should know about?
Not really. I'm just going to be DJing everywhere for the next 20 years of my life, probably, I think. Keep an eye out for me on a lineup somewhere. I'm going to be releasing loads of music. It's just some more of the same, I think. I'm really enjoying this point in my career, so I'm excited. Now I know who I am, I think maybe I can do a bit more if I just focus on it, and yeah, I've definitely found my groove. I know what I'm doing now, so yeah, we can get somewhere now.
Can I just ask, when did that happen for you? Because it seems like the way that you've been speaking for the last hour is like, it seems as though a massive life shift has occurred.
Well,
and this is the perfect tune to say it over the top of.
Yeah,
you're your own a cappella again.
Yeah. It's, do you know what? Like, it's been a bit of a journey. Like, I think being taken seriously by labels like Crosstown Rebels and Casual and Hot Creations and people like that. You know, it's kind of like it's a vouch of like, okay, right, we're on the right direction. And then I just feel like with my production in the lockdown, I just got a bit more comfortable with what I was doing and kind of know what I am. Having a baby, I've got a 2-year-old son now, and that really
congratulations.
Thank you. It really focused me into like, you know, right, what are you going to do with your life? And like, I just really thought about it. Set a few goals, and I know that I'm like, I know exactly what sound is I'm always going to be with because I've always been into it. So if I can just stop foraying into other things, then you know, it's been great. And I think the DJ Academy's really given me a new perspective and something that gives me back that hunger, because before the pandemic I was definitely getting a little bit bored and kind of like I'd achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I'm not shooting for anything crazy. Definitely got to the highest limit I ever wanted, much further than I wanted to in dubstep.
So you've actually just found peace with where you are.
Exactly, yeah. So this is exactly where I want to sit, and now I think I can just build a bit of a legacy on that. And you know, with the DJ Academy, it always gives me something to go and do, an escape from my own world to be able to go and do something different. And I think that's something I'll gradually transition into.
Well, that's beautiful. Well, the man that you are and who you've found peace with, I've got to say, has absolutely captured my heart. Thank you for such a wonderful hour.
Thank you very much.
And all the best for the next 20 years.
Thank you very much. Are we going to play your theme tune at the end as well?
Yeah, is that all right? You're going to remix it?
Oh, yeah. Brilliant.
Live. Here we go.
probably not going to remix it. I probably just want to dance to it because it's probably the last time I'm going to hear it in the flesh.
Remember, whatever you do, may you do it with passion. And may we all truly endeavour to be kind to each other, the world around us, and ourselves. I've been DJ Be Kind to other people with DOORLY. Play nice.
Play nice. Damn it, too late. What's the cue like?
No,
Coburg or up late?
we could probably keep that.
Play nice.
Yeah, that's funny.